Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Mystics at the Grocery Store. Feels like ages since we've been with you. And we hope that you're doing just wonderful. Today, I'll ask you a question first. What are you doing right now, listener? Are you multitasking? Are you driving? Are you doing the dishes? And obviously you're hearing our voices. So are you fully present in your task, or are you kind of in two minds, in two different kind of places? Because today we're talking all about presence and the power of presence. And I think it is easy to recognize that in a lot of our day to day, we're doing multiple things at once, like all the time. And so it might be kind of rare for you to be fully present in one singular task or in one singular experience. So, we kind of wanted to talk about that and how we experience presence, what it looks like to us, kind of how we define it, and just the sorts of ways that we see it sort of um, helping us in our alignment and spirituality and all of that. So, Adrienne, Melinda, let's like
I'm
jump
ready.
right in. So I would love to know from you all how you uh kind of define presence for yourselves. How do you kind of see it as a thing in your day-to-day life?
I think it varies for me day to day. I am a multitasker. I have things that I need to get done, and if there is something that I could be doing while something else is going on, that's what I'm doing. So whether or not it's, as you know, Rosalyn, behind the scenes stuff is just there's just so much
It's a
to it.
lot.
And if I can fold laundry while I'm editing something or while something is downloading, I definitely am doing that part of it. So like I said, it varies from day to day with me, but I do recognize that deeper divine presence um, is what really keeps me tethered to embodiment. It keeps me tethered to enjoyment. Um, it keeps me tethered to the why I do what I do. And for me, the benefits, all of those that I just listed, but the additional benefits of being present is just an opportunity to just take a breath and really just be quiet and silent. Um, so yeah, I mean, and without going too deep, I know we're just doing the introductory right there. So what about you, Melinda?
I love what you just said about tethering you into what was that word you used? It was just great. It's like the moment. It's similarly, it feels like divine kind of connection when you really are able to sit and be present with yourself. It's like a practice. I think of it as a practice of presence, like, because, yeah, in your day, we are, we do have to do a lot of different things. And we are multitasking. Like you said, I am cleaning and listening to a podcast. Um, and it's quite enjoyable. But usually I have kind of set the day up in a mindful way in the morning so that my multitasking generally is like, I've kind of considered that, I've sort of like, it's not like I'm mindlessly doing it. I've sort of gone, yeah, I'm going to do that. That's going to be great. That's my intention. And I still feel like it's sort of, it doesn't take me away from myself necessarily. I feel like presence, yeah, it has different textures at different times. And for me, my cup is filled when it's like in the meditative presence, when you sit in that soup of you beingness and sitting there and breathing. And it just, takes, I think, I don't know if everybody likes that to do it. I know
Mm.
everybody kind of finds their present moment in different ways, but my personal entry point is like, I love a good meditative sit and like
Mm-hmm.
noticing my breath and having a little mantra to help me out from the mind wandering. Like one of my favorite ones is like you inhale and you're like, and I exhale and I go, this, just this.
I love
And, yeah. So
that.
it's nourishing for my soul
That's a good
to
word.
find those moments of presence.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. I I kind of similarly follow kind of both of your trains of thought because like you were saying, Adrienne, like it kind of differs day to day. And I think I was reading some statistic that's like basically half of your day you're on autopilot. And I was kind of like, oof, do we consider autopilot presence? Like, or is that when
Mm.
you're lack of presence, or is it when you're multitasking on autopilot that you're more present because your brain is occupied with, like, I just kind of went, I went out on like a tangent, but I just, I was really thinking about that because I'm thinking of the moments when I'm doing a bunch of things at once, or even just like watching TV and also being on my phone. Like I find that if I'm not as present on, and again, it goes to like not just mundane tasks of like you were saying, Melinda, like I'm, doing multiple things, or Adrienne, you're like, I'm folding laundry and doing something else. Like with those sorts of things, I'm okay with being a multitasker. But when it's like, I've decided I'm going to give myself time for enjoyment by watching a show, and yet I'm distracted and I'm not actually watching it. It's like, why can't I be present and actually sit and take this fully in and like experience it? And I found that like presence for me really helps with like getting fully in the emotions and feelings of an experience, or even just like remembering more details of an experience. Like if I'm distracted while I'm at an event or with family or, whatever, I'm really not going to remember much of what goes on. And then you get past it and you're like, well, that's kind of disappointing that I don't remember that importantly, like family gathering. But it's just that kind of like what you were saying, Melinda, just the breath of, oh, I'm here. I'm right here and I need to be here. So presence for me, I think, does fall into that more spiritual side of, this gives me more meaning to be present. Whether I am doing multiple things or not, am I really focused on it? Like, am I really appreciating what's fully available to me in the present moment? It's really tricky because we're so used to being busy. We're so used to just going, going, going. And I think it's interesting too when I think of my own like personal tolerance for presence is like, the longer I let myself be really busy without like taking time for a meditation, or taking time just for myself to like sit and read or do something a bit calmer, it's like my attention span is so much less too. So then in the moments that you're trying to be present, your brain is like, wait, I'm bored. Wait, give me something else. And it's like this weird, vicious cycle of trying to just make sure you're not letting everything go by. And I was watching a podcast with Lee Harris, and he was channeling, and what came through for him was, I think he said, we're all going to die, but are you really going to live?
Mm.
And I felt like that really hits home in terms of being present in your life. So that's kind of how I see it. I feel like it's actually a pretty complex, like thing to try to embrace. Um,
Yeah, I feel like the experience of being present is very different than the analytical concept and talking
mhm,
around it. And it is hard to pin it down. You know, it really is something that needs to be experienced. And once we start trying to kind of talk, it is tricky because we get into the mind, and really it's simple if we let ourselves come out of busyness and sit in a line to like vertically. I always think about like the present moment. I think about the High Priestess card in tarot,
mhm,
and that like she has at her heart the cross. It's not like the Christian cross, it's the equal length cross. It's like the four directions. It signifies a lot of things, but it also the the up and down line is like for me what we need to do. And she's sitting still and she's experiencing, she has her foot on the moon crescent.
mhm,
It's just like I think of that card for the present moment because it's like almost the sense of time stops a little bit, even though we have time. There is this horizontal dimension to this cross, and it's like meeting right in the middle of like that is time. And then there's this vertical dimension of like essentially timelessness, which is, you know, if we get into the esoteric and the spiritual, that is the dimension that we are trying to access, you know, and step out of temporality, step out of the busy life,
mhm.
and kind of access the vertical.
I like the example of that because I think of with that cross too, it's like it shows you that vertical is like divine and physical, that presence of like I am conscious of that. But then the horizontal is like, but I'm also all of this experience. And it's like, can I be, like you said, like in the middle point of all of that and be present in the divine in the physical form, experiencing the physical world and the spiritual around us. It's a difficult task sometimes. It can be
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I have her on my altar. So it helps because I'm like, she's like a day, like she's up, like she's on my
That's
water
a good
all.
one to have.
Yeah. It's just like, oh yeah, embody that, embody her
Mm-hmm.
posture, embody her tranquility, embody her, you know, like her, even just like nothing, everything just like slides off of her like water off a duck's back, you know. It's like she's still and
Yeah.
she's decided to embody peace and the present moment and access like some greater intelligence that way and infuse herself with cosmic divine
Mm-hmm.
love.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of like there's so many things you can unlock in being in the present moment that maybe you can't when you're letting things kind of get busy in the mind because you're allowing like the full breadth of what can come forward to you in that moment when you're present and you're open to receiving whatever's in front of you. Um, but I wonder too, and Adrienne, maybe you can answer this. Do you find that your default kind of like mental state is presence? Or do you find that it's like, I don't know what would be the opposite, like busyness or, but I don't know if busyness is really the opposite of present. Whatever you might define the opposite of presence being, what do you feel like your default is?
Again, I would have to go to, it depends on what the day is, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and what time it is and what's the next thing on my list, you know, like I mean, like for instance, you know, if I'm trying to get out of the house at a specific time, then my complete focus is on what I'm going to need to get through the day when I leave my house.
Mm-hmm.
First thing in the morning, my awareness goes to waking up my body. So I'm very present with that and the ritual that I do. So again, it really depends on what the day feels like, or what the day is bringing forward for me. I kind of want to back up a little bit, but I'm going to come back to that. And hopefully this makes sense because I don't know why it's dropping in at this particular moment. Like, let's just
Say
hope it goes somewhere. But the
it.
fact that the priestess is sitting with her foot on the moon, like she's got her foot on the emotions, like, listen,
Mm-hmm.
if you're in control of your emotions, or if you have some kind of connection or relationship with your emotions, where you know that you can put it here. And I even get a sense that like she's rocking it, like, like cranky little baby sitting in a rocking chair. And here she is, got an or a cradle, and she's got her foot on and she's pushing it down. It needs to get pushed down to kind of calm things down so that you can have the benefit of being in the presence. Um, but for me, a default, I kind of feel myself rocking that cradle going, okay, like I understand. I hear you over there with the emotion. I've got to do this. I've got this to do and that to do and this to do and that to. However, if you're pulled away by all those emotions that are pulling you in all the 50 million directions, what about the current moment right now that you're kind of forgetting about and you're not experiencing and you're not living it? So, um, I don't know if that actually answers anything that you just asked me, but that's
It
coming in.
did. No, it did because you're kind of talking through your own examples of it. But I like that visual and I like acknowledging how much feeling is connected to experiencing where you are. There she is, the
Yeah.
high priestess. Yeah, because I think the more in tune with your emotional state, the more present you can be. And I feel like if you, or I don't want to use the word like in control, I guess in control of your emotions, but if your emotions are a bit unruly and kind of taking over your system, then I would really guess that being in the present,
It's difficult.
it would
It
be
would be really
difficult
hard.
and it would kind of be almost inauthentic in a way because you're being, if you're anxious, then you're being overrun by that feeling of anxiety and stress. And it's like, even if you are in the present moment, because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed right now. I'm so anxious to get out of whatever I'm doing. It's like, well, that's not really the authentic of what you could be experiencing if you were kind of in a more balanced state. So it's interesting how our thoughts and feelings all tie up together with just
Or
trying to be here.
or do you honor the fact that you're sitting in this anxious energy? Okay, this is my present state of being right now. I am sitting in this
Mm-hmm.
anxious energy. And to take a moment, that's kind of being present. Why am I anxious about this?
Mm-hmm.
List them down why you're anxious about it. And that in itself kind of releases some of the anxiety because now you've got it listed. So you're not trying to hold all of this into your body. It's listed why you're anxious. And is this anything I can control? Well, no, 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 no. And then it becomes, okay, I can't do nothing about this part. I can do something about. So I'm going to do something about this. So even that kind of gives you a connection to
Mm-hmm.
the energy, to the emotion that's being rocked at that by the cradle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives you like your power back to be
Mm.
experiencing how you want to experience for sure.
Speaking of power, I was thinking as you guys were saying all of that, how, I mean, the body itself, carries all of what has ever happened to it, within it. So like we know this, we know that sometimes in the process of like our healing journeys, we have to deal with what is being held in the body. And sometimes what is being held in the body is going to make it much more difficult for us to feel even safe. If you don't feel safe in body, you are not going to want to sit in the present moment. You're going to be sitting in this body that has this, this old stress that's been infused into it. And which is why we all, I know, understand had the power of Reiki to help move energy, to help us sort of release, that's we do this in our work. But it's really important to recognize that we need to take care of the body almost before, and that sense of and understand, like, how can we feel safe just sitting and just being? Because if we can't do that, then it's like going to be very stressful and very maybe self-defeating to just force yourself. So it made me think about, like, in terms of the yogic tradition, like the reason, yoga means union with the divine. The whole point of the postures part of the yoga is to almost like condition in the body to release, to twist and release and wring out all of the stress, and to work with breath and do all of those asanas so that you can sit in the present moment. And you do that after you do the physical, harmonizing. And so it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess we're pointing out ways that it could be difficult to sit in the present moment, like Adrienne said, on the mind level, there's many things, there's many tasks, write them down, get them out of your brain and onto paper. And then on the body level, recognize, or even just use it as a process of inquiry about, like, okay, what's being held in my body. And then just remember, you can get help. You don't have to do it by yourself. Like, there are ways to help these stresses move out of your body. Even breath work has been a huge tool for me to move anxiety, old anxieties out, and worries and stuff like that. And that's really helped me, like, enjoy the present moment more.
Definitely. I really like all of those examples. I think, there might be folks that think that they're present, but they've never really given themselves the undivided attention of just like sitting, or like you said, being so in touch with body that like all I'm doing right now is yoga, or even just like stretching, or all I'm doing right now is taking a walk without anything else. And where does my mind go, and how does my mind feel, and can I think of what the bottom of my feet feel like as I'm taking every step? Like, how I think there's like, and maybe we can kind of talk about this next, like examples of how you experience presence when you've been a bit untethered, taking back that lovely word, um, and how you kind of come into that presence. I think for me, I think of kind of the start of my day, like you were saying, Adrienne, and it's shifted a little bit. And like my meditation practice starts to look different from time to time. And lately I have been getting up and like moving my body first so that I'm like here, I'm in it, I'm out of monkey mind, and I'm like, and usually it's running. So I'm like on my little treadmill, and I'm like, it's always like the first 5 or 7 minutes that I just got to get through. So I'm like, I don't want to be doing this. It's 6 o'clock in the morning.
Why are we doing this
Why
again?
is this a
keep
good
going.
idea? I
Just
don't
keep
know.
going.
Yeah. So it's like just getting through that, and then realizing like, oh, this is how my body feels today. Am I doing better than I did yesterday? Am I doing worse? Do I feel like I don't have as much strength or power, or like, and just kind of really feeling into how it feels to be here. And then after that, I'll move into like a meditative state. And lately it really has been pared back of like not as much music, not as much other than just sitting and kind of letting whatever comes through come through. I haven't really been doing a ton of card pulling either. And I'm just kind of letting it like ebb and flow and see. But it really has brought me into more presence, because it's like you strip it all back and all you're left with is like you and the thoughts that need to come up and be thought and felt and examined and kind of played with. And so yeah, I would kind of challenge people like get in your body and let that be the only thing you're doing in a present moment and
Mm.
see what comes up. Don't listen to music. I know everybody loves their earbuds at the gym and all of that, but just try something different and kind of see how it feels. But what about y'all? Like what would you give as examples that you think are fun ways to test how present you can really be?
I like to use like body movement types of things. Like there's this lymphatic exercise that I'm starting to do where you're actually circling your hips and you're, making that orbit a lot bigger. And if for me, if I don't concentrate, I can do it to the left, but I cannot do it to the right. And that again, it brings me right back to okay, be present, get that movement. And then you bring it down to your knees. And again, it's the same thing, but it's odd then. I can do the knees one way, but I have to think about them the other way, but it's the opposite of my hips. But so that's what I've been doing lately, just to kind of, that's one thing that redirects me to the fact that I am present with my body going, wow, I really got to focus on doing it to the left or the right, depending on what body part it is. And also, I actually have on my yoga bed, I actually have the amethyst crystal mat, which
Yeah.
uh, I absolutely love. And I will get on that and I will put earbuds in. And the earbuds are twofold. It's for me to kind of be secluded
Mm-hmm.
so that I'm really focusing on what's going on with the mat. But then it's also like you got a ting, you can't be on there for too long because then you get totally dehydrated kind of a thing. But it's also to let me know how many minutes has gone by or if I've fallen asleep on the mat, which, happens. So, um, and then a really, really simple one for me is walking with my feet on the sand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It used to be the grass. I'm not walking on the grass out here.
Lizard.
Jurassic area,
Jurassic
lizards.
Park.
The grass is so hard down here too. It's not soft. It's
Not
not
pretty
soft.
soft. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not pretty soft here. Um,
Mhm.
but that, those things where my feet are actually coming into contact with something and I'm feeling the experience through my feet.
Mhm. I love that. I need to get some sand.
Similarly, because of my teaching of, I teach body movements. And so it's very, and I love it. I love it. And I am narrating as I am doing and
Mhm.
guiding. And that in itself just helps everything stay joined to the present moment. And that is when you get into that flow state of like not noticing time passing, and yet you are deeply present with yourself and you're noticing details and your attention and awareness is going within your body, and where is your weight being held, and just enjoyment of that process of shifting weight. And I work the feet different ways. I mean, I go into like minutia. And similarly, when when we're like right now, we're together, we're talking. And well, with us, it's easy to be present together because we've spent inordinate amounts of time meditating together and being quiet together. So we're very comfortable with each other's silences. And so we feel safe to be with ourselves, with each other, you know what I mean? With
Mhm.
ourselves. And I think when we're with people, and a lot of times other outside situations, people feel a little bit of stress about being with the others. And then they are, depending on their nature, they really are abandoning themselves. And we tend to abandon ourselves in a sense, in terms of like, you even forget to feel what your breath feels like as because you're managing and or trying to control or trying to make sure something goes a certain, I don't know, whatever it is, but like, I think it's a wonderful practice when you're just like in your daily life
Mm.
to like just watch, like, or, take a moment for yourself within the conversation, even to just step back and breathe. It doesn't mean like you don't have to show it like necessarily, but like go back in to yourself. You're in a work meeting, like it's okay. Like it's okay. Things are gonna be as they are. And but like the amount of, just notice like what your body is reacting. How is it reacting? Is it getting stressed out? Is it squeezing up? Like I'm always like looking at the perineum or perineum, as you wish to call it, whatever. Whatever you call it, however you pronounce that. But the the that's the space. I find it to be a holy sacred space. Okay. Come on, guys.
I
It
believe
is.
it.
Because
The
listen,
whole body is. It
okay,
is.
the whole
Absolutely.
body, but
But
that
this is the more
space
sacred of the
between,
space.
that is the, listen, that's the shit right down there. And it is right down there. But that is like we like, like if everybody's like clutching up, you're taught to
Yep.
Kegel. Well, we're over Kegeling in this society. We gotta like
Too
release.
much giggle.
We got too much Kegel.
Too much
I've
Kegel.
talked to pelvic floor specialists. Like I have had pelvic floor specialists come to the studio and do talks about this because that's how fascinated I am. And one of the amazing things was like this is a total digression
Do it.
out of the present moment into a pelvic floor specialist, which is where I go when I'm let loose with my thoughts. But anyway, she said people come in because they are having trouble conceiving.
Oh, yeah.
And they've been taught to Kegel the shit out of their body and like squeeze and squeeze, and like we're all supposed to squeeze so we don't pee ourselves. Well, we're gonna pee ourselves, trust me. Anyway, it just happens. Okay, it just happens. Especially if you've had a child come out of there. So the thing is this. Guess what? The number one reason people couldn't conceive?
Because I got a tight ass.
Because they weren't making
Their
love.
vagina is
They weren't
tight.
actually having sex, you guys,
Wait.
because they were so stressed.
They were
Oh.
They had
stressed. They were not
stopped
pleasant.
like
Yeah.
really, like it was like they had stopped. They were going for like in vitro and stuff. They were bypassing actual biological lovemaking because of the overstressed. Okay, finding ourselves in the present moment is going to nourish life, and more babiys will be born, whether
Absolutely.
that's
Because if you're not
It
thinking,
all comes
okay,
back
so let's
around.
it does all come back around. But there's a couple of things that came back to me. So for horseback riding, which I haven't done in a little bit, is one of the other things that brings me back to the present moment. Because if you're not looking at the horse is relying on you to be looking straight forward because their eyes are on the side. So if you're not and you're over here, your horse is going over there and you're like, no, we were staying on the path, that kind of a thing. But they also sense, like if you're off tilter, they sense it. And then they start walking a little bit different. And you're like, why are you? And then you straighten your body up. But then you mentioned the pelvic, and one of the things, sitting on the ball. I have the yoga ball, and not the yoga ball, but the big one, and to sit on that and to roll the hips. I'm going to do that on my lymphatic and see if I can get it to go the other direction. But it's one of the things that the doulas recommend as well. My daughter's a doula, and that's one of the things, because it does open that area up so that big ass head can come on out, right? And then the other thing is, and not that I am ever not fully present during the act of adult activity, but when we're not present in that adult activity, how hard is it for you to have that that release, right? That, I don't know if this is going to be made for children, but how hard is it for you to have that orgasm because you're not in that present moment. You're thinking about the grocery list or this or that, and oh my God, did his toenail just scratch my leg? Whatever else is going through your mind, right? Oh, so all that
Presence.
was coming
Presence
through
makes
when we were
everything
talking.
better, is what I'm hearing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I
Mm.
think too, Melinda, something that you were saying that was making me think of, because you were saying the tension of the pelvic floor. But
Mhm.
also, when you're more present, you kind of know where you hold your tension. So it's like, I mean, I
Yeah.
think a lot of us hold our tension in our shoulders or in like our lower back. And it's like when you're present, you can kind of see that sign in your body that is trying to tell you like, hey, you're out of alignment. You're too far one way or the other. You've got to kind of pay attention and come back to yourself. Um, which all of that body movement we've been talking about really helps with. But yeah, I think just being present, it's interesting. I'm just thinking of like all the different layers of our divine makeup in a
Oh,
way, like our
absolutely.
physical, our emotional, our spiritual. We all have layers of presence within each of those realms. And it kind of helps the alignment of everything if you can be present in every area, mind, body, emotion, spirit. And yeah, like if we can master that, I feel like we can master quite a bit. um but I also too, I guess, want to kind of challenge people listening to really take the next like couple of weeks and just be like, how present am I in these day-to-day tasks that I do all the time? And I almost wonder too if like, I don't know, set a challenge for yourself to take like one thing that you normally do in a multitask way and pare it back and like just do the thing and see how being present in that kind of mundane task changes for you and makes you like feel. And how is it challenging? Is it easy? Like where does your mind go? What happens? And like just kind of allowing that to kind of be your challenge.
I feel like it could be infused with a word Adrienne used in the beginning with enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important too, because otherwise, like I remember, I used to have that attitude of I'm going to sit on my meditation pillow and I'm going to do it like a soldier, you know. And I know I have to do this. This is what I'm supposed to do because that's what I'm supposed to do, and I'm going to do it. It's like I did need to do it like that. And it was what led me to, it was one of the breadcrumbs down the path, of where we are, where we go. But at the same time, like to just lightly put in a little spice of like, and how can I enjoy washing this cup? Just like, do you have like, sometimes I'm washing up and I'm like, I'll just be like, I'm grateful for what I just experienced with this fork. I mean, I know that's ridiculous, but I am like, I'm grateful for the meal that I had, that now I'm, able to wash up these dishes. And it's like that. So like enjoyment or a little gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
spice, and just something to sweeten the
The
present.
experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a little sweetener.
I love that. It's so
It's funny
wonderful.
that you mentioned that because this morning I walk around the house barefoot because I enjoy it. That's the way I like it. God, if I step on dirt, it gets to me. I don't like it.
Yeah.
So not only was there dirt, it was also sticky.
Ew.
And I'm like, oh. But I did not put on my headphones. I did not turn on any music. I was like, I'm going to be present with sweeping this floor. And in my head, I was like, oh, I'll do it with love. And I was like, no, I'm going to honor where I am right now. I don't like the way this floor is. I don't like this floor. I don't like this. I don't like that. And it was just like, my brain just went to all these other things. And baseboards, you know what? I really don't like baseboards. And I was just like, wow. But when I got done, like the baseboards, the corners, everything was, I could just like do this on the floor and felt nothing. So like being just that present, even though it wasn't something I completely enjoyed at all. And I didn't make it sticky on the floor, just saying. But what had happened afterwards and the way that the floor presented itself to my feet after was very, very enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, and you were present in what needed to be processed, which was
Yeah.
just all the stuff about the floor.
Why is this floor sticky? Like, what happens in this? Ugh.
Yeah, presence to process is good. Very good.
A good energetic cleansing was had by Adrienne.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, I feel like we've left a lot of juicy little nuggets to help people come back to themselves and try to be more present in the day-to-day life, both in like multitasking and all sorts of other things. So let us know in the comments what tasks you do like that help you stay present, what exercises, what kind of things would you find yourself being like so in the moment and in the flow of what you're doing, which is really special. And we didn't even really say that, but like when you're present and aligned, that like flow state of what you're trying to create and do is so much more easily achieved. It's really kind of magical, honestly, when you can align all of that and have that happen. Um, but yeah, before we go, I wanted to give everybody a chance to say like what's coming up. Do y'all have any offerings that are coming up that you want people to know about before we hop off?
I don't have anything online at the moment, which
Mm,
is coming. I used to offer a lot of online meditative movement classes,
mm,
and those are going to come back. And so you can always check my website, moodystreetcircus.com, MOODY streetcircus.com, and see what is there. I actually have a lot of also pre-recorded options there of all kinds. And yeah, lots of ways to work your body on our website and free resources on our Vimeo page.
I
So
can attest to that. Yes, very fun
lots
core
there.
work.
But yeah, for the moment, that and then preparing for the fall, we have we have the second annual Awakening Airwaves
Summit.
conference,
Hmm.
but that's coming a little bit later. So
Yeah.
how about you, Adrienne?
Okay, I'm going to kind of go in order of what's coming up, but lots of things are coming up, lots of workshops that are coming up. I'm just trying to get the final tweaks onto my website, sageconnections.net. The one that I'm currently building is for spiritual entrepreneurs to really get a deeper understanding of why, how, what makes us drawn to this type of work, and then what can we use to support us as we go further. Of course, it has to do with some of the asteroids, Chiron, and Pallas, but those two were just like coming into me like so strong, and to understand them in a different, deeper kind of frequency and energetic flow. And it was like, wow, this is why I do, because we get that burnout, where it's,
Mhm.
we are constantly have to explain what is Reiki. Well, what is astrology? What is Reiki? What is numerology? Like the rejection is real. Yeah, rejection. And then it just starts to hit you. Like you have to speak to certain people in a specific way so that they can understand what it actually is. But it does hit you in such a way. And it's not something that's going to be automatic. Okay, I just changed your tire and you're good. No. There's many things. There's many cogs and wheels that are turning, that have to be addressed, looked at, guided you through. So that's one of the courses that I'm doing. Also doing the life chapters, brick by brick. experience. It's definitely different than it's not a work. It's like a 3 hour long experience. You are experiencing everything that you've just been through for these past 3 months. And now you're taking it and you're solidifying it and you're putting it into your compost and you're continuing to grow from there. So, and then there's another one that's a little bit later on in the year, but there's quite a few of them, but those two are currently
So
what's going up on the site, so I'm excited for
exciting.
those.
That sounds
Awesome.
really exciting. I can't wait to do the asteroid one. For me, I have my monthly elemental energies class. The next one will be on May 11th, I believe. And we're going to be talking about mutable air. And yeah, so all the information is on my website, twowolveswellness.com. And there's like a little tab for elemental energies, but it's a monthly class. And all of the live classes are recorded. So even if you can't join live, you can always still sign up for the class and watch it afterwards. And it's been really fun so far. I've
Hmm.
really enjoyed it. So I'm excited. We're just moving and grooving through the elements, and I can't believe it's like the third one. Like, I don't know. I just feel like we're getting to that part of the year where all of a sudden it's just like, ugh, and like we're going to be in like the fall before we know it. It's just going to be
Yep.
crazy. So, yeah.
That's
Well,
wonderful.
lovely,
Good
lovely,
stuff.
wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listeners, we just hope you're having the best morning, day, night ever. And we're just really grateful that you're here listening. And we'll see you really soon.
Bye.
Bye,
See you
everybody.
soon. Love you.
Love you.